Okay, so on 3.5, we're going to look at scatter plots, which are a type of graph where the dots are not all in a straight line. We're also going to look at our correlation of those scatter plots, and we're going to model some of those scatter plots from situations. Okay? So if I look at example 1, I'm talking about years and species over those years. So my years is going to be my x. My species is going to be my y. So I know that down here are my x-axis and my y-axis. Okay, so I'm going to make each one of these tick marks worth 1 year, starting at 1996. And then on the side, I'm going to make each one of these worth 10, because my smallest value is 9, and my biggest value is 91. So I know that I'm going to start at 10, etc., all the way up, right? Make sense? Okay. So then I know at 1996, I need to go up to approximately 91, so a little bit above my 9. Right, in between 90 and 100. At 1997, I'm at 79, so over 2 and up almost to 8. At 1998, I'm at 62, so a little past 6. At 1999, I'm at 11, so over 4, up just barely over 10. At 2000, I'm at 39, so almost a 4. At 2002, or 2001, I'm at 10 exactly, and at 2002, I'm at 9. Okay? So basically, a scatter plot is just points all over the place. All you're doing is connecting, or is graphing the points. You're not connecting them. Make sense? Okay, and since scatter plots are approximate, you're approximating those points. Notice I didn't have any of them at exact. They were all just approximate guesses. Okay, and with scatter plots, you have different correlations. Okay, correlations are how things are related. Okay, so if we look at that first graph, it's called a positive correlation. And why do we think that it's a positive correlation? Perfect, because the points are going up. So when all your points go up, we call that a positive correlation. Okay, if we look at the second one, negative correlation, why would we call that a negative correlation? Perfect, because they're going down, makes sense, negative going down. And then for the last one, none. Why might we call that as no correlation? Perfect, because they're scattered all over the place. Okay, so when it's positive, they're trending up. When it's negative, they're trending down. And when it's none, they're just all over the place. Okay? So if we go back to my first graph, what type of correlation was this when we graphed it?
Negative.
Negative. They're all going down. Since we said they're going down, it's negative. If you notice, they're sort of all going downwards as the more we go. Okay? So then, what about this graph? Negative, right? We're looking at test scores over our hours of TV. So this tells me that the more hours of TV I watch, the lower my test scores. Because it's negative. Okay. So let's actually look at trying to describe some correlations based on some word problems, okay? So on 3A, the number of empty seats in a classroom and the number of students seated in class. So we're talking about empty seats, and we're talking about number of students. Okay, so if I have a lot of students, how many empty seats do I have? Not very many, right? If a lot of students, not very many empty seats. Okay, what about if I have a lot of empty seats? What does that tell me about my number of students? It's low, right? And so I know that my points are going to fall somewhere in this range, right, of going down because I started high and then I ended down. So what type of correlation is that? Negative. The more students, the fewer empty seats. Okay, if I look at 3B, the number of pets a person owns and the number of books that they read. Okay, so we're talking about pets and books. If a person has one pet, how many books might we think that they read? One. Okay, Niall, do you have any pets? How many pets do you have? You have 2 pets. How many books did you read last year? Okay, so at 2 or at 0. Okay, Fawn, do you have any pets? How many pets do you have? 6. Okay, how many books did you read last year? 4. Okay, so over 6, up 4. Just any type of books. Textbooks, normal books, any type of books. How many pets do you have? Do you have any pets? You have 2 pets? How many books did you read? So you're 0 again? Okay, well I have like 1 pet, and I read, I think, 6 books last year, I think. Somewhere between 6 and 8. Okay, and if we had to guess, I'm going to tell you that Ethan has 3 pets, and he read 10 books. I actually know if that's true, I'm just making that up. And Tana has 10 pets, but she only read 1 book. Okay? And let's say Kyle has 8 pets, and he reads 5 books. Okay, what type of graph is that? What type of correlation? None, right? I could have 1 pet and read 6 books, or I could have 1 pet and only read 1 book. The number of pets I have has no impact on the number of books I read. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so no correlation on that one. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to look at comparing scenarios based on word problems. So I'm told that I need to figure out the relationship between the number of days since I planted a seed and the height of the plant. Okay, so I have time when I planted the seed and height of the plant. So which one do I think would represent the number where my time was and where my height would be? Okay, like, would my plant start really tall and then go down? No, right? That wouldn't make sense. If it's a seed, it should start at like nothing. Okay, would my height be negative? No, right? You can't have a negative height. So that tells me then that my height has to start at 0, but then over time my plant grows. Right? So it would be graph C would be my answer. And what type of correlation is that? Positive. Okay? So you're going to be looking a lot at correlations and at matching graphs. You're not going to do too many scatter plots on your own, okay? But just when you do them, just remember to estimate. Okay, so you're going to look at page 200, 1 through 20, but skip 13. You get to skip the word problem. You're welcome.